can see from the reaction of last season's Bellagio Cup champion Alex Gomez, winning a WPT title is a poker player's ultimate thrill. This year, 353 players ponied up $10,000 in hopes of capturing that very same feeling. But as is always the case on the WPT, nothing comes easy.
Let's get ready to kick off Season 9. Let's shuffle up and deal.
Day 1 attracted 243 new and familiar faces to Bellagio, with more to come, with registration being extended through Day 3. Among them was Alex Gomez, looking to defend his title. Jennifer Tilly had her tournament life on the line when she was all in with Top Pair, but James Van Alstyne had her out-kicked, and she was one of the first casualties of the day, and they just kept coming. Matt Stout's Ace King ran into WPT champion Vivek Rajkumar's pocket aces, and Vivek rose to the top of the chip count. Then Kevin Saul, who won this event back in Season 6, tangled with Poker Hall of Famer Billy Baxter. Kevin's flush draw did not improve, and shortly after, he was eliminated from the tournament. Day 1 ended with 162 players still in the hunt and 4 days away from a prestigious WPT title. Leading the way was WPT Bucharest champion Guillaume Darcourt, young gun Phil Collins, and the Costa Rican beauty Paula Martin.
Cards help, flops help, turns help, river helps, all of that. That's fun.
Day 2 saw 67 new players in the field, bringing the count up to 310 total players. Looking around the room, the toughest table had to be table number 54. Filled with 3 WPT champions and tough tournament pros, this was the table to watch. Alex Kravchenko tangled with WPT champ Sean Buchanan. On an 8-high flop, Alex didn't mess around and put Sean all in. Sean's top pair was dominated, and he was sent packing. The other WPT champions at the table, Mike Watson and Olivier Bousquet, were also eliminated. And just when you thought this table couldn't get much tougher, their seats were filled with Joseph Big Egypt El Paya and WPT champion Daniel Lai. Both Daniel and the Norwegian superstar Annette Oberstad emerged from the table with healthy chip stacks.
What can I say? I mean, I keep getting a lot of good flops too, so it's been a really easy day.
Another player who surged to the top of the chip counts on Day 2 was Jordan Morgan.
I try to be lucky when I can be. Have been today for sure.
When the dust cleared, 112 players were left at Bellagio, with only 3 days between them and a WPT title. The Fontana Lounge was buzzing on Day 3 as the latest registration in tournament history brought in 43 of the biggest names in the game.
Trying to get all those chip games.
Okay.
Day 3 made it. All right.
Gamble up, yo.
The opportunity to buy in this late, I have to take it. You know, we're down to 120 people from like 350.
While some pros got off to a good start, others found an early exit.
See you later. By the time I got into my chair, I folded the 9-3 of clubs and then played the 2 10s. So I played 2 hands.
As the money bubble approached, satellite qualifier Dan Stadinovich was facing a min raise from Alex Melnikow and made a tight laydown.
Do the dumbest move in the history of this tournament. It's going to be on TV, I hope. I hope.
What?
That was the dumbest move in the history of the tournament.
Oh, it wasn't? There's dumber than this?
Yeah, he just folded instead of fires.
The 4 or 5 players from making it in the money, I thought it was worth, playing conservatively. But apparently there was a big shock in the room because you're not supposed to do that, I guess. So everyone knew I was an amateur.
The unlucky bubble girl Kathy Laney was sent to the rail by WPT champ Vadim Trincher, and players started quickly falling.
Yeah. My first tournament, so I was really excited and learned a lot, and look forward to the next one.
Phil Ivey slow played a set of 8s for a timely double-up through EPT champ Moritz Kronich to keep him in contention.
That's a great hand.
Annette Oberstad pushed all in with a straight and flush draw. She was finally called by Corey Hockman with a set of 6s. Annette did not improve and was eliminated in 35th place.
He even said it.
Then in a double elimination, Men Win and David Baker were taken out by former WPT finalist Eric Paniotto.
How can the guy call me with ace? I know. And now the guy wake up with 2 kings.
Eric's finished the day as chip leader with 31 players remaining, 2 days away from a WPT final table.
Today I came in with 80K and I finished the day with 477, so I'm really happy about that, obviously.
Not good enough, because everyone else still has chips. Final table.
The pressure was high on day 4 as we were playing down to 6 for the WPT final table. Dan Stadinovic survived 1 all-in.
I just didn't want to knock you out. You're so entertaining.
What's that? What is?
But Phil Ivey didn't end up keeping Dan around for too long.
I was running low on chips, and I had an ace-9, and I pushed it all in, and one of the professionals had ace-queen called, and I didn't get lucky. I think it was Phil, something like that.
As play progressed, many players found themselves on the rail.
The Cinderella was more like my stack that made it through the day because I was sure stack.
You know, it's disappointing, but honestly, you kind of just have to get used to it. It's part of the game.
I'm burnt. I'm gonna go rest, try to find those Royal Flush girl. I don't know, where's that chick at? That's when I was scoping the casino.
In the largest pot of the tournament, Aussie John Caridad doubled up through Eric Paniotu. Eric's hopes of making a second WPT final table at the Bellagio Cup were dashed as he was soon after eliminated. Zach Hyman was the unfortunate TV bubble boy, and the final 6 players were set. But what a final 6 we ended up with. Phil Ivey is making his 9th WPT final table appearance after buying into this tournament on day 3, along with 43 other top-name pros. Of those 43, only Phil Ivey survived. And we have Justin Smith, who made this same final table a year ago, blew out his knee in a freak injury and had to be helped out of the arena. He's back once more with a ton of chips and very healthy indeed. Also in the hunt are German champion Moritz Kronich, the talented young Brit Rob Akery, an amateur poker player from Canada Eric Afriot, and our chip leader Aussie John Caridad. The battle for this prestigious WPT title here at Bellagio is about to begin, so let's turn it over to poker's best commentators, Mike Sexton and Vince Van Patten.
Thanks, Kimberly. I'm Mike Sexton along with Vince Van Patten, ready to bring you all the action from the Bellagio Cup.
Well, Mike, it is great to be back here with you. Our 9th season on the World Poker Tour right here in the Fontana Lounge, and what a final table we have.
This is going to be a good one. Stay with us. We'll be right back for the start of the final table right after this.
Welcome back to the Bellagio Cup on the World Poker Tour.
The Bellagio Cup final table is about to begin, so buckle up and let's watch the bluffing begin.
Tonight's World Poker Tour brought to you by ClubWPT.com. Well, there you can see the winner tonight. Going to take home over $875,000. The runner-up, nearly $600,000.
Our chip leader is John Caridad from Australia with $5.1 million.
And what a worldly final 6 it is. 4 from foreign countries, 2 Americans, including the great and legendary Phil Ivey.
The ante's going to be $5,000. Blind 30 and $60,000. The cards have been dealt. Young Rob Akery looking at his hand. It's a lousy 3-deuce, and he quickly folds.
Rob from England. Right behind him, the Canadian Eric Afriot. He's going to fold.
But now Moritz Kronich from Germany with an ace-7 of diamonds. Pretty good starting hand.
He's going to raise it up. Makes it $125,000 to go. Right behind him, the Australian, John Caridad, looks down at a pair of 8s. He's got that mid-pair that you often wonder what you do with them when the guy in front of you raises. He's going to make the call.
Yep. Great player, Phil Ivey going out, and now Justin Smith. They call him Booster J. Also going to fold.
Well, he made this final table a year ago and has made it again, Vince. Very impressive by Justin.
So two-way action. And look at this flop. 3 of a kind for John Caridad, and aces there for Moritz.
Could be the Hindenburg for the German here. He's flopped top pair, but he's up against bottom set. He checks after raising free flop.
And John is not going to play his 3 of a kind sneaky. He has bet $150,000, and he gets a call here by Moritz. Going to the turn.
Well, 5 of hearts comes off on the turn. And Moritz, who raised before the flop top pair, has checked again. And Moritz is drawn completely dead here, as we say. No card he can catch to win it. Just a matter how much he's going to lose.
But the chip leader from down under, property developer with the 3 of a kind right now, setting up more chips, not going to play it slow, pushing in 400,000.
And before this pot started, Moritz was in second chip position, so the chip leaders clashing on deal number 1 here.
And he gets a call again by Moritz. What a disaster here happening. Hand number 1, river card coming up.
Well, that jack comes off. That may save the German some money because he might have put the guy on a jack, in which case he'd now have 3 jacks.
725.
And without hesitation, the Australian fires yet again, 725,000.
Moritz making the right decision. He shakes loose, and the Aussie's going to show his full house.
Good show? Full house.
Ivy looking very interested.
Everybody looking at that.
Very nice.
I bet too much in the river.
It must be nice to flop a set in the first hand.
You know, I wouldn't be showing these guys my cards if it was me.
Yeah, it is nice. To be crowned a WPT champion is, in a way, something money can't buy. I'd love to be the second Aussie. Where do I sign?
Well, Joe Hashem won here at Bellagio. Will John Caridad be the next Aussie to do it?
Just a great start for the chip leader there, taking down the first pot.
Well, look at this. John Caridad has picked up a pair of 7s in hand number 2.
Well, the middle pair worked great for him last time as he flopped a set to win the pot. So why not play the 2 7s?
Makes it 165,000 to go, but Phil Ivey right behind it with an ace-jack.
I'm going to make the call here.
Justin Smith out, as is Rob Akery, and Eric also out. So two-way action, Ivey involved, and Ivey picks up aces.
Well, comes ace 6-3 all spades. Now the Australian does have a flush draw as he's got the 7 of spade, and he makes the continuation bet here.
Yeah, 140 grand. Phil not going anywhere. He's making this call. Here comes the turn.
So king of clubs comes off. So Ivey still out in front with the ace jack, but the amateur continues to fire, this time 350,000.
Ivey with no spade in his hand, but he does have aces.
Well, the graphics you see are in 4 colors, what we call a 4-color deck in poker. Spades are black, hearts are red, diamonds are blue, and clubs are green.
Oh, Mike, what's the difference? A bad beat is a bad beat in any color.
Well, most online players love to use 4-color decks because it helps them identify flushes where you don't misread your hand.
And Ivey is going to speculate, makes the tough call.
And the 4 hearts comes off.
Helps neither player. What will the Aussie do? Will he fire the 3rd time? Yes, with just a pair of 7s, going to stick out 500,000.
I'll tell you, it's tough, Vince, to put an amateur on a bluff, firing 3 bullets. But this guy has done it here. Is Phil Ivey up to the task to make this call? Now, this will be most all his chips. If he makes the call here, he will be down virtually to the felt if he would lose this pot. But he is staring this Australian down, watching those facial expressions.
And the Aussie's making a lot of them. Not a great poker face. And look at this. Phil might have picked up on it. He's making a solid call.
Good call.
Nice win by Phil.
Wow. What a call by Phil Ivey right there. Folks, that was virtually a tournament life. And Vince, you just wonder if that weakish bet was the tip that Ivey needed to decipher that situation.
I think if I go a little, it calls quicker.
Well, you know the Australian saying to himself, Vince, you know, I might be the chip leader here, but maybe I should try to pick on somebody else besides the world's greatest player.
No, good call.
This season on the WPT, we have a new feature which brings you in-depth analysis and uncensored commentary from one of the brightest young minds in the game in a segment we call The Raw Deal.
Hi, I'm Tony Dunst, known online as Bond 18. Let's take a closer look at that last hand. There's a part of me that's impressed by John Caridad simply because he has the balls to try and bluff Phil Ivey. However, the river bluff is a clear mistake, and here's why. First is the sizing. When John bets 500K into a pot of over 1.4 million, he's laying Ivey an excellent price at nearly 4-to-1 to make a call with anything in his range that has showdown value. Second, I think John is failing to think about Ivey's hand range properly here. Although John likely thinks that Ivey can call a small flop